Auth-kylausti with Matt Wenzel, MLive.com, after Michigan State's 17-9 win over Indiana. And 3 takeaways. Matt, we'll start with the good. I think this defense is good enough to keep Michigan State in pretty much every team it's going to play this year.
Yeah, I mean, they were really good again tonight. After last week, giving up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to Minnesota, obviously not the great finish you want. But today, I mean, no touchdowns at all, 3 field goals. I mean, if you only allowed 9 points, you should win these games.
Right, and they had a couple times where Indiana got pretty deep. I mean, I think the biggest point for them is when Monterey has to fumble at about his own 15. They don't give anything up from there, holding a field goal, and that's really the difference when you look at what the final score is. So, I mean, you're right. They stumbled last week against Minnesota, but I think efforts like this are really going to keep them in contention late in the year.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Takeaway number 2, this offense is, I don't know, stagnant. I don't want to say moving backwards. Give some credit to Indiana's defense, but Brian Lewerke did not play his best game today. The rushing attack never really got going. What is up with this unit right now?
I don't know. Brian just said something just fell off. I don't know. I joke about, after playing 2 straight weeks in the rain, maybe it was the nice weather that affected them, and they couldn't. I don't know. Whatever it was, they were just bad for 3.5 quarters. I don't know how else you put it. They didn't establish anything consistently in the run game. I thought that was Brian's worst game of the year. Altogether. But with the final 6 minutes, they scored 2 touchdowns. So they got enough at the end. But I don't know if you can write this off as one bad week. But it definitely was not an encouraging offensive performance moving forward.
No, I would agree. And takeaway number 3, kind of along those lines, big decision from Mark Antonio this week whether or not to play LJ Scott with his legal issues, getting arrested with a suspended license. They make the decision to play him, and he didn't have a ton of yards, but I think they needed him. You look at Gerald Holmes being out; it would have been down to Madre London and Connor Hayward, which I don't think is the situation you really want. So, how important was that decision today?
Yeah, well, I mean, he led him in rushing, 22 for 87, and he scored the final touchdown. He was arrested on Wednesday for driving with a suspended license. He pleaded to it on Friday. Mark said on Friday that he would play, said his stats would be affected. He only missed the first series, and then he gets the bulk of the carries. So clearly they needed him. I mean, he had a couple of decent runs, but I think like you said, with Gerald Holmes out, they need him.
Yeah, I mean, especially you look at Madre's fumbles.
Yep.
They really went to LJ for a long time after that, and he moved them a little bit. I mean, they were winning the field position game a lot today.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not moving them out a lot, but I mean, I think their offense was keeping, to a certain extent, Indiana's offense kind of at bay too. So, I mean, it's a what-if game, but I'm not sure they win it without LJ today. So, Mark Antonio made a decision. I think a lot of people were probably going to second guess, but hey, I mean, he did it, and they won it. So, that's it. At Northwestern next week. Check all the coverage at MLive.com/Spartans.